Hello, hello. I'm back, just like I promised. Let me just take a few minutes just to see if some of the people that were asking me to come back earlier are going to hop in, and then I'll start this. This was something I did not know about. Hi, Erica. Hello, Miss Nadia. Um, I saw this video pop up on my timeline, and I did not realize that. Um, yeah, can you believe it? It's wild. I don't know if you guys have seen this yet or not, but let me find it. This was JLR. He put this out this morning.
JLR investigates. Day 31. Where is Nancy Guthrie? Someone ran into this memorial. There was all types of flowers all over the road here. It's crazy because she has a memorial in front of her house, Nancy Guthrie, and people have been laying flowers, cards. And I came here this morning. I'm just going to put the last two over, but somebody like literally in there and ran it over, and all these flowers were all over the place this morning. It's crazy how someone ran into this. Maybe because they can't see because it's pitch black out here at night, but flowers were everywhere this morning. So I'm going to kind of like put them off the road, which I've been doing. Some of the flowers are ripped. Annie left this card yesterday when she came to the house with Tommaso and Savannah. But man, be careful when you're driving out here. I'm sure people will go off the road. There's no lighting here. Maybe it was purposely done. Who knows?
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I just can't imagine that it wouldn't. That it was an accident. I mean, I don't know. At this point,
let's talk about the case right here. I'm going to spin the camera around. It is day 31. Nancy Guthrie has still not been found, and the neighborhood is quiet. News Nation has a tent here across the street from the Guthrie home. No other media outlet is here right now. No one's here at the News Nation booth. It is right before light. Now, a car just pulled up. This gentleman here, he's searching. We'll call him Map Guy. And this individual, I'm going to spin the camera around. Just talk to you for a second, Map Guy. Map Guy, what's going on?
Oh, hey, Map Guy.
Map out, actually, but, so we're going to congregate here this morning and put a couple people together and then move our cars, sounds like, to the northern part of the neighborhood and kind of do a little ground search. Just, if you want to point to this area, this is the Catalina foothills. Here's Campbell. The Nancy's would be right into here, but we're going to park in here and we're going to do a little search around this area.
Definitely going to be monitoring it. Why are you here? You came from the East Coast.
Yes, it's just easier to do things when you're here on the ground, boots on the ground, than to type behind a computer. And this is going to help me
even worse,
sleep better at night, just knowing that I did my part.
Thank you. All right, so a group of individuals are going to be coming here searching, but it is quiet out here. No parking out here, as you know. Right here, they have a parking restriction in the neighborhood. All the media has gone away. And then this is Nancy Guthrie's house. There's no Pima County sheriffs, nobody here guarding the house. They have a security. It's called Simply Safe out here. We watched the family install the system around their house, get ladders and go up their house here. This is the doorway here where this all happened. How did the perp get inside this home? It still remains a mystery. And what happened inside that home February 1st? Was there blood anywhere? We know that there was blood on the doorstep. There's also no trespassing signs, and this is it. This is the scene. It's still quiet out here, but there are groups of people that still want to search. Now, I just want to point out something over here that, let's see if we can zoom it in. The floor mat is still in front of Nancy's front door. Now, I don't know why they didn't take the...
Yeah, and I was watching was it the Interview Room earlier, and that Maureen O'Connell was on there, and all of the people on there were like, they still haven't taken the mat. Like, day 31, this is literally where the guy was standing, and you would think that the minute that they saw the camera, knew that was where one of them was standing, that would be taken. I mean, they put cams in Nancy Guthrie's house, outside and inside, I believe, new cameras. They did that 2 days ago, I think it was.
Floor mat there. Maybe it's evidence. Maybe they can get something, in reference to shoes, or try to figure out a footprint or something to try to identify the size of the feet of the perp, or maybe the key was under there and that's how the perp got in, because we still don't know how the perp got in. Did the perp have a key?
Exactly.
No signs of breakage at the house whatsoever. Floodlights, according to reports, were busted out in the back. We still don't know. It's a lot of unanswered questions when it comes to this case. Pima County Sheriff.
Well, who knows? I figure they were talking the other day about, teenagers, things like that, trying to sneak in. People trying to get in to rob it or things like that after, when it was handed back over and the police are no longer out front. But, yeah, it's too bad it wasn't all done beforehand.
Nanos has still not given out a press conference in weeks. Really no updates whatsoever.
No, not that we know of, Miss Reed.
Nancy Guthrie. Who's involved here? Why? Why would somebody target an 84-year-old woman from this home, Catalina Foothills, north of Tucson, Pima County? Why would somebody do that? And of course, here somebody left a message to the kidnappers. This has been up here for days. So I will continue to stay out here monitoring the case on JLR Investigates on YouTube. We'll go down to the sheriff's office throughout the day. We'll do call-ins. We'll hear what the people have to say about this situation. What do you think happened to Nancy Guthrie? We're waiting for someone to get arrested. We're waiting for her to be found. I am JLR Investigates, boots on the ground. We will talk soon. Stay tuned.
Okay. So this was... A second.
And the FBI are working many leads to try and get closer to solving this case. News 4 Tucson's Andrew Capasso has covered this investigation from the beginning. He's live at the Pima County Sheriff's Department with a look at where things stand right now. Andrew.
Yeah, Robbie, good afternoon to you. Nice to see you. So this evidence ranges from that DNA collected near the scene to cars, and of course that doorbell camera video from the night Nancy was taken. Sheriff Chris Nato says there are several good leads here, and he is confident in his investigators. So right this second, investigators are waiting for DNA at that Florida lab, that private lab there in Florida. At the same time, dozens of FBI agents are...
I have a question about that, though. I thought there was a snafu, a snag, and that they already ran it, and that DNA does not match anyone in CODIS.
Still on the ground here in Tucson working this case. So now, today, more than a month later, we are less in the evidence collection phase and more in the analysis of everything collected phase. The sheriff says it's frustrating to wait. He understands that, but he says it is important and this part takes time. Meanwhile, he says some of the leads investigators have in their hands right now are very promising. Listen to this.
We have information on this case that we think is going to hopefully lead us to solving this case. but it takes time. Because my team can now focus on what's really the meat and potatoes of this case, and that is who it is that was in that video and who took Nancy Guthrie.
So the sheriff standing by his team of investigators, he was asked if he's confident his investigators will solve this. The sheriff saying, quote, absolutely, we will get there. So we're going to continue to stay on top of this. Of course, I've also talked to United Cajun Navy today. They're offering a lot of help and a lot of resources from across the United States, really around the world. We're going to talk to them and hear from more of them coming up starting at 4 o'clock. For now, reporting live at Pima County Sheriff's Department headquarters, I'm Andrew Capasso, News 4 Tucson. Robbie, send it back over to you.
Thanks, Andrew, for continuing coverage on the search for Nancy Guthrie. Stay with News 4 Tucson on air.
I have to look at that tomorrow because I don't know. I've heard some on and off things about the United Cajun Navy. I was told there's two different. There's the Royal Cajun Navy and the United Cajun Navy. I don't know if some people have said they're the same entity. Other people have said that they're separate. I don't know. So be interested to see what they do. Now, you've probably seen the interview with Luke Daly and his mom. And there's some weird things that popped out to me. And this Adrian F. I've shared her link before. Let me put this in here. She usually doesn't have a bunch of junk posts or anything like that, but this is about the interview with Luke Daly and his mother, and these are some of the things that we talked about earlier that were kind of weird. Just kind of got them all in one list. She says, sorry, I just don't get this. His lawyers tell Brian Nenton his mom never met or knew Savannah or Nancy, but she seems to be her biggest fan. Luke says authorities didn't say anything to him, but then said he was questioned. Make up your mind. He then said he assumed straight away it was about the Guthrie case. Yet he said he didn't know or never heard of Nancy or Savannah. Why would you automatically assume it's about Nancy Guthrie? And I remember his mom saying, well, yeah, we love her. We watch her on Today Show all the time. And I kept thinking, he doesn't catch me as a Today Show kind of guy. But, you can't judge a book by its cover, I guess. He says this should be easy to clear his name immediately, and they should check his location. Why? Did he not have his phones with him? Is this something we can't trace? Cell location? How does he know where Nancy stays? Why was he panicked? What does he have to panic about? He says there's pressure to close this case. How do you know that? And that's it. If he didn't know about the case, that could have been something that his lawyer said to him that he heard. But his mom says the same. She assumed she was being detained because it was about Nancy Guthrie. Why would you assume that? Just because you're following the case and you live close by? Did you know Luke was involved? What an odd thing to say. She kept repeating questions back. Did they take anything? That seemed such an odd response, the way she couldn't answer. No allegation, not allegations, just my opinion. Let's see, this is
to come to you and say, do you have any video or anything like that? It's another to detain you and search your house with a search warrant. Did they tell you why?
I guess I assumed, because I live close by or something, but I just said,
oh, sorry.
To come to you and say, do you have any video or anything like that? It's another to detain you and search your house with a search warrant. Did they tell you why?
I guess I assumed, because I live close by or something, but
For real, Erica. For real.
I just said I'd do anything if we could find some clues that might help, but I don't think there's going to be anything in here, but go ahead and look. I mean, I didn't say you can't look. I didn't even think. It was kind of, late in the day. I'm so sorry. I'll turn that off. I get a lot of phone calls now, a lot of messages from people. How are you doing, Mary? So, yeah, and then I just decided I was much better off going to Phoenix to be with Matt and the grandkids and his wife and everything.
So when they detained you, did you know that this was related to also them investigating Luke?
No.
You had no idea?
No, I wasn't thinking this was about Luke. I found out it was also about Luke, but initially, no, I was thinking it was all about Nancy Guthrie and finding her and whatnot. So, because I was thinking, I don't even think Luke probably ever watched the news and even saw Savannah on the news. I mean, I did.
Right. So when did you learn that, your detainment was related to Luke's detainment in this case?
When? I'm not exactly sure when, because honestly, during this time, I was really emotional and there were a lot.
And I'm going to say this too. This guy has a lengthy criminal record and was being watched and is under charges. And the police show up at your door and you're telling me that you had no idea, you never even thought that it might have to do with him? I don't understand that. This guy is not a choir boy,
Lots of information coming in, and so I don't remember exactly the time, but I know that in retrospect, I know all this stuff that it did, but initially I didn't think of it being Luke as part of this because I knew it wasn't something that Luke would be involved in any way, and he wasn't. So, yeah.
And when you learned that, was there any thought could he have been involved?
No, I didn't think he ever could have been involved. Not at all. No.
So you and Luke were not involved in anything in this case?
Right, except seeing it on TV and acting and some of the consequences of, we want to search this. And I'm like, okay, if it helps find, because this was early on, we thought differently about.
Did they take anything specific from your home?
Did they take anything? I can't think of anything they took. I can't think of anything.
And did they eventually?
I might think of something later.
That's
I hate
fine.
to say it, but
yeah.
Two sheriff vehicles following me. They pulled me over at the Culvers right there. Asked me to get out of the car. Didn't tell me what it was about. So they had me cuffed in the back of a cop car, detained. I was asking, what am I being detained for? And they wouldn't tell me anything. They just said that the detectives would be there to talk to me. And once I saw FBI and all the other cars start pulling in, I'm like, oh, this is probably about the Guthrie case. I'm like, this should be easy. I have nothing to do with this, so it should be not a big deal to clear my name and move on.
Why would he think that and know that?
But the whole time during the questioning, didn't really seem like more of a fishing expedition for them to try to get me to say something. Because
again, this guy has got charges looming for trafficking and a whole host of other stuff. I think his trial got delayed till June. But you automatically think this must have to do with Nancy Guthrie.
All the dates I was telling them where I was, things like that. I'm like, all you'd have to do is look at my phone and see my location. It was nowhere near anywhere or have any connection to this. But still, it was tough, being there. I don't trust the FBI to the extent that I'm like thinking that there's pressure on this case and they want to find the person. So like the whole time while I'm sitting in the back of the cop car, I'm like panicking, thinking that I'm going to be framed for this or they're trying to pin this on me somehow.
I don't know. I don't necessarily think that he has anything to do with it. But I think that they're trying to get a payday out of this. Years.
Do they have any connection to Nancy Guthrie?
They live in the same area. That's it.
But they've never like met her or anyone in her family? Or...
From my understanding, Mary Daly years ago had a circumstance where they ran into each other, and I think she was with Savannah, and maybe out at a grocery store or something like that, but rather inconsequential.
Just like Mary was a fan sort of thing, like that kind of a run-in, like she saw them, or?
I don't even know the circumstance. I just was informed by Mary that years ago that happened.
But no, so they're not friends or anything?
No.
Do they have any connection to Nancy Guthrie?
So yeah, I don't know. Here, I'm going to put us on this. This is Mark the Shark. This was somebody that Truth Warrior recommended, said he drives around and I think he's just driving around kind of trying to keep an eye on things. Put his link up in case anyone's interested. But she said he was fine with sharing his stream, so I told her that she was going to have to protect me if he came after me and got all mad at me, so. But
say, hey, never want to skip you guys, all right? This channel runs off of you guys' help, and we're able to get Starlink, we're able to get.
Turn my lights out. It's dark.
Yeah, waters too. I got a bunch of waters for everybody.
Awesome. He's kept me. He kept me hydrated all day. So
thanks
to you and thanks to Mark. You know what I mean?
Ice too.
Ice.
I might need to get some snacks. That's one thing I do. I do
like snacks.
Get rest. What is that? Rest. I'm just getting started, guys.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't have to work.
I'm just got it started. Oh, Discord. Let me figure that out. Hold on. First of all, let me. We need to get power.
What is the? You have a Discord?
Yeah, Discord.
Also, you run it live with this or something?
They want me to do. Because it gets crazy in there. If I have too many people.
I never even been on there.
Yeah, so.
We're gonna try.
That's what I
boys don't sleep.
That's right.
Truth Warrior and
look at the moon.
No,
yeah. How's the moon? Hey guys, how's the moon staying up there like that? You guys know?
You guys know? That's a heavy ass moon.
How does it? Guys,
turning right here.
How's the moon staying up there?
That way, when these big cases come up, we can still share stuff.
Make it right.
Like in case I'm not able to go live until later.
Yeah.
So he would.
My question is about the moon and all that.
What's that?
How do they make everything? Why is everything so perfectly round?
Oh.
That was always strange to me. And then one of my teachers tried to explain it as when the meteors were hitting it. I'm like, you're going to tell me that the meteor made it a perfect little ball?
Oh, well, what happens, it's like Play-Doh. It's like when gravity, gravitates towards,
okay, look, you're answering for me.
When gravity gravitates toward another atom, the atom gets bigger, then it gets mass, and so it goes like that, and it's like Play-Doh, so it starts to go like that, and it forms
a.
Boy. 7, we're almost there.
No, we're gonna physics lesson.
But how is the moon staying up there?
It's still up there.
It's still up there, guys.
Dude.
That
all right, hold on. I'll look at the super chat right now in a minute. I got it.
It's
I'm
completely
look while I go
not related to what they're talking about, but
we're almost there.
I said I was watching the interview room for a little bit while I was
you guys are amazing.
getting the boys ready
to
for bed.
Nothing back there, right?
And this is something that's bugging.
No. We have witnesses.
So
because I
that
don't want
Marino
somebody
Connell
to
was
say,
on
look
there,
at these
and
guys,
she's on it.
I already know what you're gonna say before you even say it.
She's pleading the fact.
No, but I
And
already
she
know
had
what
said
you might
that
say
Sheriff
before you would say
Nanos
it.
said
I already know that. Yeah. So before you do,
that
and I do that,
when the family
you know,
dropped
I'm
her
gonna
off, that
catch
they
you
got
on that.
they
And
walked
right
her
there,
in and
that's
got
why
her
I said,
settled.
look at this, boom, 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 boom,
And
nothing,
then
no cigarette butts, nothing,
So I'm thinking, okay, you know, I did that a lot. We were coming home from
You saw
dinner
a
or
gum
something,
wrapper.
and
You saw a gum
maybe
wrapper
my
up
mom
your
had
nose,
some
buddy.
takeout containers or something. I'd walk her in, you know. It took her
No,
25
right.
minutes to grab her purse and all of her umbrella, all her stuff.
Gravity,
So a lot of times I
gravity.
say, here, let me
305
grab it,
gravity.
and you work on getting up to the door.
Oh, we can tell by
Walk
the
in,
lights.
set her stuff down,
Somebody there?
I don't know.
Oh.
make sure she's
That's
in,
good. Remember the cactuses?
stand on the
That's
porch
what's
till I hear the door lock, and walk away. But okay. But then I started thinking about how long that takes. And there's only 2 minutes between when the garage door opened and the garage door shut.
Well, here, figure out your garment. Now go
So did
back,
he
hit reset, and then
misspeak
put it back.
again? Or
All right, let me read super chats, guys.
which is it? I mean, I don't understand these
Thompson's
little.
been watching you. Thank you all for your doing.
There's all these little things that keep happening.
You know, we joke around again. Is it Renee or Renee Thompson?
And I don't really
Either way, thank you
understand
so
if it's
much.
just the
I really
sheriff
appreciate that. I mean, we joke
misspeaking,
around.
just
You know, we keep it light sometimes.
talking out his
Me and
face,
Alex.
or
The thing is, you got to remember is that
is there
our hearts are in the
discrepancy?
right place. All right, guys. These cases are heavy.
And I know there's a
heavy.
million
I don't know if you
different
guys
reasons
had,
why all this
you know,
just
certain
happened.
things where you needed to take a step back.
But
right?
there is
And we try to
something that
bring
is
to you. I try to bring
just
that to you.
gnawing at me
Alex
and
tries to bring
gnawing
that
at
to you.
me.
It's a fresh, new perspective of a sense like, hey, we are here, but at the same time, we are
About this being.
It's not, you know, I want to be able to.
Good night, Erica.
Yeah, you know,
About this
respectfully,
being
you know what I
somebody
mean?
that they know.
And so, but I do care about these cases, and we're the
Possibly.
only ones there, and it's heartbreaking too, because when media's there, when News Nation's there, when
The son-in-law.
you know the big name medias
just-
are there, there's so much attention, right? Because
I
they
don't know,
can
there's something
they can
that's bugging
cover
me
and
there,
they
and
can
I
go over
hope
something
not,
so
because
little, which we think it's
that would
little,
make all this
big.
10 times worse.
It's just amazing, right? The coverage that it gets, the people, and sometimes that might ring a bell or trigger a memory and say, look, I did see this person at 2, 3, 4 in the morning, or he came late. He's never out this late. You know, it triggers something in the person's mind, in the psyche, and that's what I'm trying to do too. Is maybe you see something, maybe you hear something, and maybe something doesn't sit right with the Delphi case. That's what happened too. Okay, with all these other cases, a difference in character, a difference in schedule, a difference in their everyday way of life, or every day of what they're doing, something changes, right? And it just triggers that moment, that you know, that memory. Jeffers, you can have a heart and 8%. Don't apologize. All right, cool. Yeah. I don't think I was apologizing. I think it was more, but I see what you're saying. It was more like, hey, this is what we do. You know, hey, Jace for Justice, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Look, so from here back to Nancy's, 0.9 miles.
Tell them where we're at, the viewers.
After. Well, so here we go. We were at the footage guy, right? Without saying his address, we were at the footage guy's house, right? On Camino Real. So it's 0.9 miles to Nancy's. I don't know why they kept saying it was like 2.5 miles.
They said 2. How far is
They
it?
said 2.5. 0.9. It's not even a mile.
0.9?
Right. So why wouldn't they have been able to? Anyway, so what address am I picking up? Where are we going?
Quick trip. I know. Quick trip. Yeah, quick
You know where it's at? You get here?
Not from here. I get turned around easily over here.
I thought this is cool. You could just do that too.
Yeah.
Quick trip. Get us to the closest one.
They want to do phone calls.
You can do that at my house if you want, while we're charging or something.
Charging?
Quick trip to 2.2 miles away.
Damn, that's farther than this place.
I know, you feel me?
Yeah.
And there's 2 of them. Which one do you want to go to?
I move here, man. I'm being serious.
Yeah.
Sorry, I stopped talking. I'm just looking for
How
some
do
of
you
the
think
stuff.
we'd be able to cruise?
Did you see my apartment, right?
I wanted to go over. I
Bedroom,
thought I
2
had it.
bedroom, vaulted
I had
ceilings,
marked.
Hey, laundry, washer dryer on my patio.
Patio, yeah.
You don't let them have.
You can't get that at California.
No,
Not
dude,
even.
That's 35 to 4,000.
No, that's like 5 G's now.
You feel me?
5
That's
G's
crazy.
for 2 bedroom. 2 bedroom.
You feel me? We want to do a fit.
Yeah, I'm going to quick trip. Yeah, I got to go to. I think I think I make a right up here. Yeah.
You're right. You got it.
Oh, actually, my bad. Let's go to. Actually, no, I do need to go to Quick Trip. Yeah, I gotta go there real fast.
Me too. I didn't know this. Those were awesome. Right
well, like I just like going there. It's like a good like morale
good
boost.
environment. Yeah,
it's like a little booster for me.
Is that the same? Well, it's not the same one.
Yeah, the same one went to. That's where the one I want to go to. Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, I don't know nothing. I didn't see nothing.
Yeah, I've been single for 11 years, so I'm good.
That's cool.
There's nobody stalking me. Nothing. Fat old motherfucker.
Dude, I got. I don't want to talk about that. Stalkers, man. They're wild. Hey, guys can have stalkers too. You know that?
I wish I could have a couple.
I don't know, man.
You know, I wish someone wasn't stalking.
I don't know, man.
No?
I don't know.
Keep going after that.
Nobody wants a stalker.
So Campbell. I see.
Hey, you know what? I wanna you know I think in your next day off, we should go to El Charro and talk to the owner in town.
I like that.
The owner is very sweet, very nice.
That's
I was
awesome.
talking to the manager.
And that was her regular spot, right?
Yeah, that was her regular spot. And
I think her and Savannah went there too, right?
Savannah, her mom, Annie, they were all there.
That's
And
the
so I wanted to
restaurant.
talk to the owner, see who they were.
Good idea.
Yeah, that's the restaurant.
That's what we were
That's
asking a lot about.
special
Like
that
when
they
we
used to
talked
go
the
to all the
neighbor
time.
over there, who
Yeah.
was being, oh no, actually it was the nice lady.
Yeah.
She was talking about how she's mobile and like all these things.
That
It's
was
good
to me.
hear
That was
stuff.
huge to me.
Yeah, like
See,
just to be able to-
things like that are huge to me. These little details.
Yeah.
Spooky.
Big field right there, huh?
Huh?
Big old baseball field or something?
Baseball field.
Hi. This is one of the shorts that I wanted to show. Hi, Amelia. I did your nails earlier in my live, and I will post a picture. I took a picture of them, and I'm going to post them on my community tab. I don't know. Maybe she doesn't think that he did. Or is she doing it for false sense of security? You know, I don't know. This Maureen O'Connell had some really good points on the interview room tonight. Yes, I did them can't speak again earlier this evening, but they're on my last live. It was really hard. I cannot find the Lilo and Stitch stuff. And I've tried doing the what do you call it by hand, but it just was not happening.
Hey guys, thanks so much for checking out my show. Really, really appreciate it. Please click to subscribe. It is now
going at Brian.
There's $1 million on the table for someone. We're going to go to prison. Yeah, one person's going to go to prison, but we all know if the accomplice comes forward and gives up the guy, there's a really good chance he can get off and get $1 million. He wasn't going to get $1 million from the architect of this whole operation initially, was he? No. He was probably going to get, who knows? I mean, people do this stuff for as little as $2,500. So whatever the amount is, and then when the amount went up to $1 million, the heat went up 1,000,000 degrees. So the other side of that coin is there's $1 million on the table. They can get it. Apparently, they can do it without being traced. They can pick it up in cash at a post office. There's $1 million on the table for someone. We're gonna go to prison.
Yeah. So
use the restroom, maybe get a Slurpee again. I don't know. And then we're at the other place for the what's it called, the surveillance. Alex wanted to talk to the owner, see if he was there.
I don't think I saw that. No, I haven't seen that one yet.
They weren't there, but we'll keep going, guys. We'll keep going. We'll keep going.
What do you mean? I was telling you that's why it took me so long to find. Don't do caps though. When you do all caps, sometimes YouTube just grabs it and holds it, or throws out the comment.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I tried sketching out the lettering, but it was not. I did find they're cute though. I put him on 2 nails, and then there's with little flowers and stuff on it. Let me.
Oh, they are saying the same thing. Dow 6-7. Let me read super chats, guys. Hold on. Let me read super chats.
That's
fine. Don't want to miss. Thank you, Yarn Angel, for your $2. Thanks, Mark United. Let's keep up the good work. Thank you. Let's see. Huh? Yeah. No cigarette butts.
Okay.
Checking out my show. I really, really appreciate it.
So just remember, I have to do the stoppy and talky thing so I don't get in trouble. But we'll watch some of this. I'll go through where.
Which isn't something that I had really put a ton of thought into, which he's going to explain his theory on that, and also why he thinks those ransom notes in the beginning may be bogus. So this is my my conversation with Jim.
All right, so I'm joined now by Jim Clemente, former retired FBI profiler, and also host of the podcast Best Case, Worst Case.
He looks familiar. I've seen him in like some court case or something before, I think.
Said former FBI profiler, but whenever I say that, people think that they got fired or something. So I'm clear about saying retired. Maureen got mad at me about that once.
Yeah, I did retire, and I'm still a profiler. So I'm continuing to do that work, and I'm also an expert witness in legal cases. So.
Oh, someone, was it Nadia? Someone was talking earlier tonight about the man that came up to JLR. He was blaming a Mr. Walter Nash. Well, and I kept saying that name sounded familiar. When I looked it up, I remember this. I kept saying like it was like a fictional character. There is a Walter Nash series in the David Baldacci books that's where I remembered it from. But then I think it was Jay looked it up, and she found that he's like a criminal prosecutor or something in the state. And so that's who he was blaming for doing all of this. So I don't take much stock into what that guy was saying. But I mean, you never know. You never know, right? Sometimes people that don't seem like their elevator goes all the way up to the top floor are the ones that are speaking all the truth, you know? So see, I didn't hear, this guy, okay. For a second, I'm like, You talking about the guy? So no, I know what you're talking about now. Never mind.
I definitely continue to do behavioral analysis in criminal and related cases.
So, Jim, I'm here in Arizona. I've been here for like a month, just trying to dive into this case any way that I can. And I wish I had more information a month in, but it's still very mysterious. There's still a lot we don't know. There's still a lot of questions about motive. I mean, based on everything you know, have you been able to come up with a profile at all for who did this to Nancy?
Yeah, as I said earlier, when we've talked before, the fact that someone would take the risk of going into an occupied
That's a
dwelling,
relief, Doug.
spending 41 minutes or so there, and then taking the victim with them, that's a huge risk. All three of those things elevate the offender's risk tremendously. See, risk level is in opposition between the victim and the offender. So when the victim is in their lowest risk area, which is in the privacy and security of their own home, to get to them, the offender has to take the highest level of risk. So
And that's exactly it. This was so risky to do. Even an 84-year-old woman that's not in the best health. It takes some chutzpah.
know this person was very motivated. They'd have to be so motivated in order to overcome that great risk that they took. Now, up until the door cam video was released, it seemed like this person was a fairly sophisticated, criminally and forensically experienced kind of offender. But when we actually saw his behavior, we could see that he wasn't at all ready for that door camera, that he walked out of the vestibule area and grabbed some brush to try to cover it. And in the process, he revealed that I believe he has a tattoo on the underside of his right wrist.
Yeah, and a lot of us saw that. That first night that video came out, we were looking at it, zooming in, and we all saw that, like a little something on the outside of the wrist.
Those are all really big mistakes for somebody who took the time to wear at least one mask, maybe two, at least one pair of gloves, maybe two, a full bodysuit over his other clothing. He thought he was actually protecting himself forensically, but what he didn't do is actually cover up his mouth. So he's breathing out DNA for 41 minutes in that house. He also, his eyes and his eyebrows and his eyelashes and some of his mustache hair was all exposed. That could have fallen out and been left at the crime scene.
And my thought too is it's something that if they do find someone with forensics and photography and all that, they can easily match someone's eyes, someone's mouth to a photo of someone. I mean, I don't know, that floored me that they would let all that show.
So he made a lot of mistakes that really lower his criminal and forensic sophistication. So what does that tell us? Well, we know he's a male from the images, and generally the way he moved, he didn't seem like he was in his 50s or 60s, but he was probably in his 30s or 40s. And he definitely, because he wasn't a professional, he definitely exhibited pre- and post-offense behavior that people around him can see. So profiling doesn't just sort of predict who the person is, but we also talk about their behavior and what they'll do. So
And I did try to look at the video of the family going to the memorial, and everyone kept saying that they saw that the brother-in-law had like issues with his knee. I didn't see that in the video, but 20 of us can watch the same thing and see 20 different things.
For this event, he was experiencing some level of stress because he was planning this. Clearly, the way he dressed and the fact that he got away with it to date tells me that he did put in some level of planning. Of course, he wore a backpack with bright, reflective straps, bands on the strap, which, you know, and he was wearing lighter clothing, which you don't wear to a night operation. I mean, you want to be as unseen as possible, and he was glaringly there.
My question, though, that backpack, was it obvious that those pieces were reflective? Because, like, I know my kids have coats and stuff that they don't have, like, the big reflective stuff on the, like, it doesn't look like that. Like, Driver has a coat that he wears to work, and it's got huge, it's bright fluorescent yellow, and it's got the huge, like, iridescent reflective patches. But, like, my other son has a coat, and it's not until you shine the light on it, or you're out in the woods, or you're on a camera or something like that, that it picks it up.
He had a little flashlight in his mouth at some point, but if he had had a searchlight, a very strong flashlight, he could have overwhelmed that camera and it would not have picked up his image. He thought he destroyed the camera and the images it took. In fact, he didn't. So those mistakes, again, lower my assessment of his forensic and criminal sophistication. But because he's not so sophisticated, he was probably going through a lot of stress beforehand, and he may have even spoken to people about it. He may have vented to people about how things are going wrong, or there's a lot of problems, but things are about to happen in my favor. Things are about to get good. I'm about to, all my problems are going to be solved. I'm going to be out of debt, whatever it is. I believe he spoke to people around him about this stuff. And then.
Well, I still have not taken him off of my list. Like I said, I am not trying to be a jerk to victims' families, but there's just something about all of this that nobody coming forward for the reward. Was it just hoaxers, or was that used to throw everybody off? I wonder. Or was this somebody that was completely a stranger and just was stalking either her or Savannah? I mean,
after the event, and when Savannah Guthrie announced that she was going to pay the ransom, he may have even slipped again and spoken about, things are going to get better. But then when his images were released, I think that was, 10 days after the event, his stress level went through the roof, and he may have left town. He may have hidden his car in a garage, or had worked on it, or had it painted. He may be obsessively cleaning it.
Well, and that's the thing too. Like somebody's got to notice different weird behavior about that. Like that was one of the things again with Kohlberger. I believe his parents and his family knew, because he was acting even stranger than normal and even more stressed and more. So whoever this is, I mean, unless they're just a complete psychopath and they're arrogant at the fact that 31 days out and they haven't been caught yet. So.
But these behaviors are out of the norm, and people around him will notice the change in these behaviors. One thing that my friend Jim Fitz and Ray Carr added to that behavior, and I think it really makes sense when they profiled him, was that this guy probably has had a history of being fixated on celebrities or quasi-celebrities.
They did go over one that was nearby. I don't know if they were using that that technology, the signal sniffer or not. There was a kind of bunch of debate whether or not that was about it or it wasn't about it. And I think it came out eventually that it was. And it just came out this morning that, or was it last night, that Pima County did ask for assistance from another county near them. They would not state what. And they sent that sheriff's department to a specific coordinate location to look for a body. That's what was stated. And that's Ashley Banfield said that was confirmed, that they did that. Didn't yield anything, but
in the past, probably female celebrities, and this could be one of the main motivating factors in this case. But I will say this. If that isn't it, if it isn't sort of somebody who's fixated on her because she's the mother of a celebrity and in her own right has been on TV several times with her daughter, if it's not that, then I believe it's somebody who had some tangential connection to the family or to Nancy Guthrie herself. And in that connection, and it could have been a guy working on the pool, the yard, cutting the grass, repairing the roof, doing some repairs to appliances in the house or the AC or the heat, and even possibly deliveries or driving an Uber. There's some connection in which innocently she revealed that, one, she lived alone and that she would be home and vulnerable on this particular night. And it's a shame because her trust in any of these people could have led to her being targeted by this.
Well, that's something too. Is somebody, I mean, that's what I think. If somebody's going to say something, or somebody has said something, maybe someone, whoever heard it's too afraid to say anything yet. I did hear that about Hoka. Yeah. And now she's coming back. So what's going to happen to? She's just going to get to work and there's going to be boxes. I mean, what's going to happen with that
particular offender?
If it was a Savannah obsessed person, would they have tried to reach out to Savannah by now or wanted something from Savannah?
Well, they did get something they wanted from Savannah. They got Savannah to talk to them directly. And another thing they got was an emotional reaction by her. And unfortunately, when you have, for example, erotomatic stalkers, they feel that they have this relationship with their victims, and
see, that's what we talked about earlier too. Was this weird relationship in this person's head. And yeah, I did hear that, Paulette. I heard that it was not as happy buddy, you know. Yikes.
They feel sometimes that, well, if I can't have you, nobody can have you. And they can get violent. And it could be that had some motivation in this case.
So even getting the emotional responses from Savannah that we've seen could have been enough. It's not like they would have wanted more.
Oh, they may have wanted more, but it is a huge amount to be addressed directly by.
Well, and my thought too, I think we were talking about that earlier too, is that if he didn't get the response he wanted, she talked all the time about how her mother and she were just such best friends, that she was her most precious gift and all of this. So what's the best way to hurt her if you're not getting what you want from her?
The person that you've been fixated on, yeah, that's a big thing.
Wow. So I've heard a lot of people think that that's what it is. I've also heard like burglary gone wrong, and then Nancy, hopefully this isn't true, but dies, and you got to get rid of the body or you're going to be
No, that's not true at all. You don't got to get rid of the body. You got to leave the body there, and you got to get away from the body. If that's what happened, that person, unless they had a known connection to her or that location or both, that person would have left her there and gone as fast as they possibly can. Get as far away as possible. You don't bring the body with you. That is the best evidence in the case.
Yeah, taking her with them was for a reason. And I know, I don't either. I think that's weird too. I think that's weird. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist person, but I don't know. It seems weird, the timing of those notes coming out and some of the stuff that had come out about Harvey Levin. Just make your own decisions from that. But, I mean, yeah, that's what I was answering earlier. They had gone to that dump that was near Nancy's home. Harvey looks like he needs to sleep for about a week, is what I think.
And to keep that with you, to take it somewhere else, to then spend more time hiding it. You're putting their DNA in your vehicle. You're putting their DNA all over you. It increases the risk that this offender took exponentially.
Contractors already installed the new system. But no one said that her pacemaker was disconnected. Or that it hasn't been stated as fact that they disabled the security system. That was just a question. They thought maybe the guy had a jammer or something on him, but that hasn't been proven. So, anyway, Stephen Culver, it's called commentary, and that's what you have to do when you go over someone else's video. So, apparently it's your first day at YouTube, but you're not going to spend it here. Bye-bye. Okay.
Only reason why you would there are two reasons why you want to remove the body. One, that's what you came to do. You came to kidnap this person, you're going to find them, and you're going to take them away. Two, people know that you have a connection to her. You want to delay discovery of her because there's evidence of you on her.
He's not going to like the block party. We don't have any snacks, and we only have Flavor Aid. We don't even use sugar when we make it, so good luck, Stephen.
And so that is why you take the body away. You make that extra effort. You take that extra risk because there is a known connection.
So if it was just a random burglary, you think they would have just left the body? Why, if she died, why would they take the body?
Absolutely, no question.
Because why take the chance?
I mean, it would be extremely foolish for them to continue to make risky moves.
Excuse me.
To what end? I mean, if she died and there's evidence that there was a death in the house, what does taking the body away do for you? She's going to get discovered, or she's going to be discovered missing. Either one, the alarms go off and they're looking for you. If you got in and out, and instead of spending 41 minutes there, you spent 3 minutes there and took off, you have 38 more minutes to be 38 more miles away, right?
And that is a good point when it comes to a random robbery. They're not going to be there. They're not going to be hanging out. They're not going to be, do what they're going to do, and they're going to get out because they don't know if they're going to be caught. They don't know if somebody's going to come walking in. And I've heard people wonder that about the pacemaker, but we don't know, and we won't know until she's found. No, her pacemaker did not stop at 228. Her pacemaker disconnected from the Bluetooth device that it was hooked up with, which remits information between her pacemaker and the device, and then from the device, whether it's a tablet or a phone, to the doctor's office. Her pacemaker still will run. It did not disconnect. It disconnected with the pacemaker. Yes, but it didn't stop the pacemaker. So the pacemaker will run until someone actually stops it. But it can run for 10 years. If it's a really strong magnet. You can't just take a magnet like off the fridge and do it. We had a big talk with that. No, I'm sorry. If you're looking for that meeting, it's down the hall. Bye. Poor Rose. She was all confused. But the battery can run for 10 years. The battery and the pacemaker will still run even if the person is deceased. So the device doesn't run the battery. The pacemaker has its own battery that charges and stays going. But someone would have to know that she had a pacemaker. Someone would have to have that medical knowledge. And I mean, it's a possibility. Anything's a possibility. But I don't think it's that complicated. I don't think that to take a 84-year-old woman out, I don't think you need to do all that stuff. And even if you're kidnapping her to plant blood, like I just don't understand. Like, I don't know why they would. It seems like an extra step to take that could be screwed up, take extra time, and but I mean, like I said, we really know nothing. I could be completely wrong. So and yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna push play on this again. You are welcome to, Doug.
Why would you take her with you? You're right there with.
And that's the thing. In here, I am totally cool with anybody's theory, anybody's questions. If something is stated that I know is not fact, then I will correct it. Or if I know that it's just a theory, I will correct it. Just because I want us all on the same page. But the only time I will ever kick somebody out, boot them, anything like that, is if you're rude to me or if you're rude to anybody in this chat. You can get your point across without calling anybody names, without coming in and acting like a complete piece of junk. So, and 99.9% of the people that come in here are awesome. But just know that if you feel like getting blocked, act like a jerk to somebody in here or to me and you're out. So
The evidence against you.
I'm just thinking this through. If it is like a Savannah stalker, because I've always thought there was more than one person involved, but maybe that would mean it is just one person, and maybe that would explain why we haven't had some other accomplice trying to claim this.
Did they? I heard someone else say that earlier, but I couldn't find anything. I was looking. Ouch. And I couldn't find anything that said that they had gotten another email. It would be a fifth one, right? I don't know. I've lost count.
$1 million reward. I mean, could it just be one person involved?
Absolutely. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a Savannah stalker. It could be a Nancy stalker, because again, even though her fame is not anywhere near as great as her daughter's, she has been on TV with her daughter, and that's a level of celebrity that this person doesn't have. And, you know, unfortunately, some people get fixated on elderly women. It's not common, but it does happen.
Could one person have done that by themselves, though? Gotten her away?
Absolutely. I mean, it's easier it's easy either way, you know. If she's alive, you threaten her with that gun.
That's one of my thoughts too, Sue, was if someone, especially when she came home and there was that big thing for her, you know, her sorority came out and danced, they had the band, they had everything. And that was one of my thoughts, my possible thoughts was, you know, when they talk about these guys getting fixated, did they think that her coming home was her coming to visit them? And then when she got here and maybe they tried to get close to her and security pushed him away, and he felt slighted, or you know, something along that lines. And the one way that they knew how to hurt her is take her mother, because you can't get to her kids, you can't get to her husband, they maybe didn't know about Annie and Tommaso. Well, and I've heard that too, Paulette. And my thoughts, though, is I keep thinking, though, I don't see, if it's her husband, I don't see them taking her mom to get back at him. Her interview that she did with the victims was like 6 or 7 years ago. I went and looked that up. But could it be someone who's angry over that? I mean, because that has raised a lot of emotions in people, all different emotions. And they did it for whatever, you know, because they're angry about the Epstein situation. They believe that she and her husband are both involved. And I know I missed a comment. I was peeking at another tab. Well, Kathy, when you said that about it would take two, not necessarily. I mean, I'm a chunky dunk, and my driver can pick me up, like, no problem. And she was kind of a little lady, and if she was unconscious, she wouldn't fight back, so somebody could just pick her up, you know, princess style, or flip, you know, get her over their shoulder and out wherever they were going to go, especially if she was maybe unconscious or something and not fighting. The dog, passed away in December, which that's interesting to me too. I wonder if the dog just passed from natural causes or if something happened. Yeah, it was in the beginning of December. I heard one of the FBI agents that was getting interviewed had repeated it again tonight. It was like beginning of December. So, yeah, like 2 months. Does that have anything to do with this? Did someone do something, slide a treat under the fence, flip something over that she didn't know, and to make sure that the burglar alarm was quiet, you know? Was it Annie's dog? Okay. But there was that doggy door, because they were talking about that was one of the things that they had closed up. But maybe, you know what, though? Someone found that Annie had, her address wasn't that home, like before they bought the house. And I'm trying to find that to see, because I wondered if she had lived there maybe before they bought their house, and maybe that door was there because her dog was there with her. Who's who, Kathy? I don't know. Who are we? We're technically YouTubeists? I don't know. I'm Cutsy, and I run a Claws and Crime channel.
If she's not alive, I mean, that guy didn't look small. She's pretty small. It'd be fairly easy for him to take her out.
Do you think she was alive when she left the house? I mean, just based on what you know?
I don't have any reason to believe she was dead.
Right, but there is a little courtyard that's completely bricked in. It's off of her bedroom, and it's all the way to the left of the house. And I think it's got like a little grassy area in it, I believe. So, and her entire property was had a brick wall around it, except for the where there was the gate door between the pool house and the main house, like in the garage. Because that's what I was wondering, is out in the courtyard, but you can if you're standing in the left side driveway where all the police kept walking to the left of the house, right behind that tree, one of the trees is a little like patio area. And so that was one of the things that I wondered, we were wondering the other night. It's because that was completely gated in and sealed off. Like there was no way to like open up a gate and get out of there into the yard. Could she have left that? And that looks like the door where the comforter is on the floor and the rug. Could she have left that open to go to bed because she's thinking it's safe because there's this fence, not thinking that someone could hop over and come in, and that's what we were talking about earlier. Is that camera scene that we saw, is that right when this began? Is that after this happened? Is this in the middle? And well, there was one in the back that was broken out, and we don't know about any motion lights out front. There is specific laws about lighting out of there, light pollution, because of Arizona University and their astronomy program. It's been in force since, I believe, the 70s. And so they can have like landscaping lights and stuff like that, but there was something early on that someone was talking about that had to do. This is not Brian, honey. We're just reviewing him. But exactly, he could have jumped right over that fence and right into there. And I don't know that she probably wouldn't have. It didn't look like there was any lights like above that or anything like a motion light that she would have in that little patio area. And someone had said that the motion lights have to be set so they're not super sensitive, so that like if an animal runs by, they're not going on and off all night. But those floodlights that were in her backyard, those were the ones that we saw smashed. So yeah, so let's get back to this.
I mean, the fact that blood is dripping as she's leaving.
And why does everybody think I'm Brian Enton tonight? I mean, I know I got a deep voice, but you guys, come on. Look at the picture.
Probably is a good sign that she's alive or was alive at that time. If she was dead, he could wrap her up in something that wouldn't be dripping.
Yeah, I never thought about it that way. That would make sense. Why would you? Right, you would have had her wrapped up when you took her out.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes back to the theory, like maybe there was just a tarp in there, and there you go. Backpack was light loaded. A tarp's not heavy, like a plastic tarp. It's not heavy at all, but it's bulky and it takes up a lot of room inside. No, the dog died like early December. The dog wasn't there. There was no dog that got beaten. No. Oh, you know what it is? It's because it's on vertical. It's just to the left of him. That's why. I know, but I don't sound like Brian Enton, do I?
Do you the ransom notes in the beginning that have kind of just fizzled
That's
away?
what I'm wondering, Sue.
Do you think those are real?
Well, I mean, the only reason why I believed they were real is because it's been reported by the police that there was a very specific item, I think a watch, that was described, and the location of that watch was described accurately, and that was the proof that they gave that they were legit. If that's the case, I don't know how that happens other than somebody inside telling them that, because that was not something that was released to the public. So I think that has a level of legitimacy. The fact that they sort of fizzled away, I don't know what advice was given to the Guthrie family. I don't know whether they paid anything or what.
See, an expert is just as frustrated with that as we are. Who's lying? Who's lying, Lori? I haven't seen anyone lie in here. Well, that's I'm wondering, like, because that's what I was thinking, is because we had just had some sewer issues and we have a big tarp folded, and that's what I was remembering. Is it like there's kind of like a shape like that on the edge of the backpack, and yeah, nobody's stating anything as facts in here. These are all just theories, and everyone's theories welcome. Nobody's lying in here, but we're all being polite and kind to each other, and so I want to stay that way. But yeah, I kept wondering about, a tarp, maybe rags, something like that. I mean, because yeah, if you were going to rob somebody, you would your bag would be empty, not full. Unless, I still don't buy the robbery thing, because I don't think if it were a robbery, why would they take her? They just leave her and get out of there.
Whether they didn't pay anything, but there is certainly a policy in the FBI and in law enforcement in general not to pay ransoms.
Do you think they should have offered the reward sooner? I mean, because reportedly Savannah wanted to and was told, let's hold off on the $1 million reward initially. Would that have made a difference, do you think?
I don't know. I mean, the $1 million reward.
There.
If you put that out immediately, I'm sure the reason why they told her to hold off is because they didn't want 50,000 false tips of people just trying to get that $1 million.
Let me pause that. Okay, I'm sorry. I was still ticked off about a troll a few minutes ago. Okay, I thought you were talking about me, because people keep thinking that I'm Brian Enton. And I'm so not Brian Enton. I swear to you. I'm a postmenopausal boy mom who's into true crime and has her own nail business on YouTube. That's all I am. So but yeah, that's exactly it, Lori. No, absolutely. There's so much false information. But there is lying. Like, I've been watching chats and literally seeing people just come in and be like, she was found today. Like, why would you say something like that? Like, I don't understand. Then we are definitely gonna get along. I love Jersey girls. I'm from Michigan, so that's where my attitude comes from. Sorry. But yeah, no, I just know. I read it. I read what you said wrong, and I was a little salty over someone else that was being a jerk in here. So I apologize. You are absolutely welcome in here. I heard that too, that somebody found a star on the jacket. Oh, no worries. No, you didn't hurt my feelings at all. I just like, oh no, please don't come in here and yell at all of us, because then I'm gonna have to yell back. No, I just misunderstood you. You're all good. No, believe me, I was a hairdresser and a nail tech for 29 and a half years. I have skin thicker than a radial tire, so don't ever worry, you're not gonna hurt me. No worries. Yeah, exactly. It is. It's just clickbait, and I clicked on something the other day, and it was all AI. I'm like, are you like kidding me? What's it called? Let me see. No, not at all. No, don't worry. It was just bad timing, and like I said, I didn't read it all the way, but I put this up so that everybody everybody knows that I'm not Brian Ensign. I just don't want anybody to think that that I'm like, I don't want anyone thinking that I am pretending to be him. I gotta figure that out with the setup, because
it's a lot of money.
The vertical doesn't. The vertical doesn't show the same stuff that the horizontal does, and it doesn't show.
It's very unusual to have
my picture
a reward that high, and it
Black
brings
Star.
people out of the woodwork.
Yeah, Black Star Security.
Are you surprised we're at day 30?
I am.
I'm not sure if there was.
It's
That's a good question, Paulette.
I mean, it certainly doesn't bode well for Nancy, and
that's where they are.
I don't know what the forensic examination that was done initially at the house was, but
I don't know. And now it doesn't even.
Pretty certain that this guy's DNA is all over that house, and what I'm waiting for is for them to have developed a DNA profile, done a forensic genetic genealogy search,
Don't sweat
and
it, honey.
gotten
Don't worry at all. I'm glad you're here.
this guy's family,
Fit right in.
and they're hopefully following him to get a cigarette, a Coke can, pizza crust.
There was security afterwards, but I hadn't heard that there was any security that actually drove around the neighborhood. I know at first they thought that it was a gated community, but it wasn't. They had gotten that one and one other one near it mixed up. There was an HOA, but it was optional. I think that's what Brian Enton had said, is that it was optional, so it wasn't anything where they had to pay dues or check in with anybody or anything like that.
That he discards so they can get his DNA and confirm who it is. That's the best hope in this case.
And that can take time, right?
Yeah.
So even though it's 30, because some people I've heard some law enforcement experts say that they think it's becoming a cold case. Is it too soon to say that?
I mean, a cold case is when all leads have been run to ground and there's no new leads. I don't think that's the case yet.
Yeah, I don't think we're there yet. It's just
30 days, not 30 years. Cases are being solved after 30 and 40 years. So this case will be solved. I have no question in my mind about it, because of that video and because of the fact that he wasn't forensically sophisticated enough to prevent any of his DNA from leaving his body and being at that scene. I just hope they collected it.
The way you described him is, and let's just say it was someone who did it alone, because if it was a stalker type, maybe it was someone alone. Do they start to tell people about it at some point? Or do people like that keep it to themselves forever?
No.
Yes, Paulette, that bandage, yes. That was in that I think the most recent picture of hers.
I think this guy is not a professional, and so I believe at some point was probably prior. His pre-offense behavior was probably him. He probably leaked out information about this. In other words, mentioned Savannah, mentioned Nancy, mentioned that, you know, he was going to go to Tucson, something. He was not as sophisticated as he thought he was.
And that's it. If anybody in the area has some weird brother or some weird son that was fixated on the Today Show or what, I mean, you know, that's hopefully going to be the way that they catch somebody. Well, see, that's the thing too, the hang up, the proof of life. We were talking about that earlier. Victimology, and yeah, her online presence. What was her online presence? What was her?
And those kind of offenders slip up, and I'm sure he did, either before the offense or after the offense. If he doesn't get caught in a while, then you might see exactly what you just said, him kind of bragging about it in a way, like maybe generically, yeah, you know, I could have gotten away with that too, you know, something like that. But I'm telling you, somebody who's listening to this right now, somebody knows him. They live or work with him or live near him or have interacted with him, and he has just changed his behavior in the last 5-6 weeks, and especially when those images were released. And whether he left town for an emergency or, you know, made sure that he would not be out in public for a while, he did something. He did something to change his behavior, and anybody who knows him, who's around him, should pick up on that.
So we don't.
Well, that is exactly it, Sue. It's another theory. If he's just some lowlife, yeah. And you know, some drug addict at $2,500, $3,000 is a fortune to them, you know, because they're playing chess, not checkers. They're thinking for the next week they got it made, you know, or next day, or I don't know how much that stuff costs, but oh, she's not returning. Wow, I did not know that. See, I don't think anything. I think she was just doing her regular little kind of soft spots that she did on the Today Show. So that's what's so weird. Why? Because I don't know that anything that she was doing was really controversial or attention getting. And I feel like with the things that people are throwing out as far as, you know, different connections and things, I feel like there's other people that are, yeah, she was going to go host the Olympics, but the Epstein victims interview was 6 or 7 years ago. It was before that Virginia, Guthrie had taken her own life. So she hasn't had anything, I don't think, publicly to do. Now, she had a couple interviews with Trump that I think some people said, I didn't see them, but some people had said that the people that don't like him said that she hit him with really hard questions and they loved it, and the people that do like him said that she was rude and blah, blah, you know, I mean, so it just depends on who you're talking to, you know. I kept thinking, how in the world would you be able to go back and be happy and go lucky and all of that on a morning show when you're supposed to be like first thing people are, you know, cheerful when people are drinking their coffee and listening to the news.
know officially that nothing was taken from the house, but that's kind of the sense that there wasn't like some high value item missing. So I guess operating under that being true,
I don't know what the questions were too.
so not really being a burglary, and then
Well, it could be a frame.
Yeah, but I think with that, with him speaking on it 3 times, I think it was just kind of one of those things where reporters asked him about it, and that was just his kind of. And I'm not getting political. I do not do politics in here, and I don't do religion because that's the best way to get people to start fighting. But I think he was just kind of giving generic answers to make people happy, to make people think that something was being done on that level. I don't really think. I mean, I think that she's probably, with the events that happened this week in Iran, I doubt that she was even on his mind, except when someone asked him about. Yeah. Well, it's a federal kidnapping crime, and that's because they can supersede, because I believe there's no death penalty in Arizona, but with federal charges, there are allowances that allow that to happen. But it did. I know he said it, but I don't think he was involved in any way, because that's pretty much all we heard. And then here we are going to war with Iran. I don't think that he gives a rat's behind about any of this, honestly. I mean, and that's whether you're for him or you're not. I don't think he's that sensitive to even care. I mean, he's thinking about all this other stuff. That I get from, what was that show he was on? That's really as close as I get to paying attention to that stuff. See, I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could go back to work. And I just, I don't know. I don't think I could go back to work after something like that.
Picture of her in Savannah. It could be some little, something from a magnet on the refrigerator. It could be, some little souvenir or trophy that he took. It doesn't have to be something of great value.
Is there any other motive that has come to your mind besides, Savannah obsessed person?
Well,
what do they say? Put a pin in that one. Is that the same? Did I get it right? The Apprentice. That's what it was. Yes, my mom loved that show.
I mean, money, revenge, personal cause, or sexual. Those are the motives that could be.
Do any of those others? They don't seem to add up as much to me. I mean, I hate to even think about the sexual, but it's just the way the neighborhood is. It's just this random house in the middle of this neighborhood where everybody's spaced. Like, why her if that was the case,
Generally because that person worked at the house or delivered something to the house or delivered her to the house and knew that she lived alone.
Well, and that's the thing, is that I know people are saying like, oh, she was 84, blah, 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 but R and SA are not about attraction. They're about power, and they're about hurting the people, hurting your victims, and having power over them. So it's the weakness, the predator weakness in someone. Yes, that's it. You're fired. Yes, you're fired. Yes. That I don't know. I've not heard anything about a safe. But there's so much that we don't know. We don't know anything about the inside of that house. Nothing.
That's generally what happens, what precedes that kind of an attack. However, unless that was absolutely known, there's no reason for him to take her from that location.
Yeah.
Do you think at this point, just based on what you know, they have several people in mind, or do you think they don't?
True.
Hmm.
And I don't think
Because I'll just tell you,
out there.
I mean, we had reporting a couple weeks ago about them going to the gun stores with 40 names and faces, and initially I thought they did, but now I'm wondering if they don't.
Nothing that we've heard of, Paulette.
It's just whether or not I think it's a good idea to answer that question. That's all.
Yeah, I understand. Did anything stand out to you as strange with the ransom letters?
Absolutely. In general, when someone kidnaps someone and their motivation.
Okay, so this is here. We'll see if we have the same opinion as the expert on the ransom letters. All of us, our 47 bajillion opinions that we have. And we are all right.
Is to get money. One of the first lines is don't tell the police and no media. DC snipers, for example, they had both of those, right?
Exactly. Sir.
This case, instead of hiding what they were doing, they announced it to the world by sending it to the media. That's extremely unusual, but it may be telling us exactly what they wanted, which was notoriety, which was making everybody in that neighborhood shiver with fear, or making Savannah emotionally, begging for her mother's life. That could be the motivation. Behavior tells you many times not just what somebody wants to do, but sort of it satisfies some kind of inner need for them. And I think sending it to the media and sending it not to the media where Savannah works, but to a local CBS affiliate and to TMZ, it made sure that the news got out there. The local CBS affiliate tells me that that person may very well be from that area because they wanted that media outlet to be aware and to publicize it.
Well, yeah, and they went to a local. It wasn't like the NBC station, which was Savannah's station. It was that, what was it? KOLD, I think is what it was called. Well, that's it. They need. Well, that's probably what, that's part of what what this profiler's like intel is knowing, looking at these other crimes and what's the MO of a kidnapper, of a robber, of, a stalker, things like that. Yeah, okay. I thought it was KOD, yeah, and TMZ. And that was something that one of the other FBI agents had mentioned, is that KOLD, like why they believed that it was someone in the areas because that they would know that station locally. I guess like it's a smaller station.
So publicity is usually the last thing a kidnapper wants. And it's the first thing these people wanted, or this person wanted.
I really appreciate Jim for taking the time to talk with me. It's sort of a lot to think about there in terms of the why and the motive and what the person may want out of all of this and where Nancy got.
So this is why we get along. My friends always laugh at me. They think I have a big whiteboard behind me in my room, in my office. But I don't, I swear. But I have a lot of notebooks. I did not take notes today, though, so I'm glad that you did. Well, with the email, though, they used like a VPN, which it funnels all the IP address and all of that. It funnels all of that like through like, it sounded like thousands and thousands and thousands of different channels. And so, that's how they kind of scramble their trail with the emails. Oh, I know, right? I can't even. I posted one time when I had my second son, because he used to drink a bottle in like 30 seconds flat, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like, I think I have a little piglet, not a little newborn. And I got flagged and couldn't post for like 2 weeks. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Yeah. Well, what, I can't remember whose interview it was, but they were talking about that, and they said that, how did they say? They said it's not impossible, but it would take like years if they were able to trace it. Yeah, it's virtually untraceable because it just keeps changing all the time. So you would never, it would never end the trail of what that went through. And so whoever did that is pretty smart. Now I don't know if there was the other person that wrote the note stating that they knew who it was, not that they had anything to do with it, but that they had been across the border and seen Nancy with these people, and they said people, and they wanted that was the one that wanted the $100,000 when the 50 was well, and that's it. Somebody probably will, but again, if they use a VPN, then they still won't be able to trace them who they are. That's why I kind of think it's, yeah. And that's why I just don't think that, I mean, unless it's a network of people, I don't know that these guys are that savvy. But I mean, I don't even know what to think anymore. Honestly, I have no. It just gets weirder by the day, and the longer it takes, it seems like the further away they are from. Really? Well, and that's it. And, you know, Driver and I were talking about this the other day. When I first started doing this case, there was a guy that came in the first couple days, and he said, he was saying weird stuff, and we just kind of chalked it up to, just wanting attention, something like that, you know? And it ended up being, he kept talking about that he had ridden by Nancy's house, that he drove by there, that he was working out there, that he was from Florida on a work crew, and his name was Patrick, or what, that's what it said in here. And red Jeep. He said he drove a red Jeep. He said that he had been taken in by the FBI and questioned, and that they kept his electric bike because it had blood on it. But then after he said all of that, he also said that he needed to get back to Florida because he was racing in the Indy 500 on Sunday. So, yeah. So, whoo. So I know, was it Dale Earnhardt Jr.? I mean, but no, this guy, he had said, and he started getting really rude with a couple of my friends in here. So I just eventually, I let him go because I just thought, you know, he's harmless, just needing some attention, whatever. And he was in here talking about it. He kept saying to us that he kept saying she's right behind the house. She's right behind the house. I know she's in there. I've been by there. I know she's back there. And we told him, then tell somebody. And he said he tried, and that they wouldn't listen to him, and they took his bike. You remember that guy? Because he started being rude to Hunty, and someone else, and so I just, bye. I don't need I don't need people in here that bad that I want somebody scary like that. So, like I said, I've been lucky. 99.9% of everybody that's in here, comes in here, is super cool, nice, but oh, yikes. There's some scary people out there. Well, and this is the thing too, is that if this is someone like that, if this is just somebody who decided that they are a murderer and they're going after somebody, like, then this really was handled in the wrong way, because then there's an entire county of people that are in danger. Because if now 31 days out, this guy thinks, hey, let's say it is one guy that did this, that he's some sociopath, some psychopath. Now it's 31 days out and he's like, I got away with it that time. So maybe I do it again. Everybody starts somewhere. Richard Ramirez started breaking into houses. At one time, Richard Ramirez had only broken into one house and killed one person. And no, I've wondered that, Paulette. I've wondered that. Maybe because of the cameras, the mask, because of the cameras. Maybe that's part of his fantasy. Ryan Kohlberger wore a mask just like that. And that was his plan. Was to go in and they believe possibly SA the girls, or Maddie, and take her life. And he had on one of those ski masks and to keep himself from getting anything on him. But see, we don't know about the inside of the house. And something I wondered that too, the banner. We watched that all night, and but see, that's it. Why take her? And the other things I keep thinking is that after they released the crime scene, after they had all the DA and everybody in there, that one car came in, and it was just a woman. And I thought that they thought that was possibly like a cleaning crew, like a maid or something to come and clean up. Not a maid, but like a maid service, cleaning service. And so if that were the case, then it doesn't sound like it was a mess in there or anything like that. John Wayne Gacy. Oh, for sure. I don't know what it is about him. I've watched things I know about him because I am interested in psychology of all that. And I tried to watch that latest documentary on Netflix and I just could not. I just made my stomach turn, and I am normally a lot tougher than that. That's true too. Fold it up. I mean, it just... Ugh. No, I'm like I said, I'm usually tougher than that, but I could not watch that documentary. It just... Oh my gosh. Another one that really got me was that, was it Fred and Rose? Was that her name? Rose West? They were from England. And she helped him. Disgusting. But yeah, there was something about just gross, just greasy, grimy, gross, and he always is, yeah. Always. Ugh. No, I could not stand him. And maybe that's what it was, is he was just so pitiful. Oh, he's just poor him. Yeah, no, I did not. And Richard Ramirez is another one that he terrifies me. Like, I mean, he's gone now, but watching the stuff about him, and that was the instant that I heard about this. But like I said, he always left everybody. He left his victims there. But so I think it's a lot deeper than that. But well, that's it. That's the thing, is that, oh yeah, have you watched Manhunt on Netflix? Yeah, on Netflix. That's all about Ed Kemper helping, and how they actually, he helped them start that division. Arthur Shawcross, yes. I just read something about him the other day. Well, and the thing is that you literally, when you watch, these are people that are literally at the grocery store with you. We had, it's in one of my, it's on my playlist. I have a playlist of like podcasts that I did. And we had a guy here that he was a chemist. He was this brilliant man. He was known all over. His husband was a well-known hairdresser in the area. And this guy was taking people off of Grindr. And nobody knew it. I mean, we had another one that actually, because of DNA that was found, this has been like 20 years, but he was tied to a case. It was of I think it was an American Airlines stewardess that was murdered in Detroit, and she was found in her car in the parking lot, and they never knew what happened. And they ended up tying, and she was from out east somewhere. And this guy, he worked for the sprinkler company in our county, and I was a hairdresser. And I had a lot of well-to-do ladies that they would, on Fridays, they'd come to get their hair done. The sprinkler guy would come, the pool guy would come, all of them would come while they were gone getting their hair and their nails done. And they just let them in the house because they knew them and they were a local business. And come to find out, this guy was sneaking, that's how he got caught. He was sneaking into customers' houses, stealing their stockings, their undies, all of these women's undergarments, and he had them stashed in a box up in his attic. And he ended up getting questioned for something, and I cannot now remember what it was, but they end up finding this box and then finding a bunch of videotapes of him dancing around like Silence of the Lambs style in these women's clothes. Oh yeah, there's that one right now that they're wondering about in Texas. And oh my gosh. That name, I know I've read about that name. Wow. Yeah, and that's what he did. He would dress up in these outfits and dance to music on that. And I'm like, and literally, I was doing one of my clients' hair after they caught him, and she's like, I'm sitting here right now thinking, did he have anything of mine in that box? Which one of us was going to be his next? I think that's what happened. I think he assaulted somebody. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I don't know if you were in here the other night when I was talking, but years ago when all that was going on, before I had kids and stuff, I was a gamer, an online gamer, and I was part of a big group. And one of the women in our women's group was an FBI agent, and she all of a sudden she had to leave. She left for like 6 months, and she said, I'm not going to be around for a while. She said, I have a big case that I've been put on. She said, it's of a serial killer. She said, and we're trying to track him. And it was after that, it was right around the time of like BTK, Green River Killer, all of that. And when she came back, she couldn't speak on anything, but we always wondered if she was on like that case because it was right around that time. And I wonder, see, we never got to know her real name because we never, like in here, we didn't give real names or anything, but I could have been gaming with that Maureen O'Connor and not even known it. Wouldn't that have been cool? She's my FBI crush. I love her. I swear. I love her. But that's just it. These people just walking among us. I mean, it's Norman Collins. He is now Ed Kemper is called the co-ed killer, but Norman Collins from Michigan is actually the original co-ed killer. And he was this handsome, good-looking athlete that was going to college at Central Michigan University over on the like midwestern side of the state. He was gorgeous. Girls fell all over him. And okay, and this is the other thing that's so random fact about that, about John Norman Collins, is that I was watching a couple weeks ago a documentary about him, and you will never guess who found his first victim. I almost fell over. I hope you're sitting down. Okay. So 6 degrees of separation, right? So 2 young boys were walking down the road and found his first victim, who had been just destroyed, okay? And she wasn't all in one piece. And these 2 young boys were walking down the road, and she had been just thrown kind of on the side of the road. And that was kind of his Collins' signature. He just kind of threw him wherever. Didn't really try to hide him, didn't really care. Took him out to kind of outplay so he didn't get caught when he was trying to hurt them, but didn't really care where he left them. One of those boys was, now correct me if I'm wrong about her name, but Anne Ramslin was Brian Kohlberger's college professor. And it was her brother was one of the 2 boys that was walking down the road and that found that girl. And so I always wondered if that was part of what got her into the field that she's in. I just thought, so young and she was interviewed in that documentary. Oh, yeah. Oh, his mother was, yeah, well, much like Ed Gein's mother. They emasculated them. And I think that's part of what intrigues me about serial killers. Are they born or are they created? Or is it a combination of both? Because you see this kind of cycle. And didn't he killed his grandparents too, didn't he? Was it his grandparents? Well, they did the other night, JD, and was it Sunday night? Sunday night. Out at NBC, the NBC affiliate station out there, and not a lot of people showed up. But Dad's Gone Live went out there and lit a bunch of electric candles and placed them underneath the big banner that's out there. See, I have this. That's one of the things that's sticking in my head, Doug, is that could this be? Is this just the first? Maybe he made so many mistakes because this is the first. Yeah. Age 14. Okay. And then he came back to live, because then he lived with his dad for a while. Well, and that's it too. Like, he was deemed well, and that was the thing too, is one of the things that I was reading about him is that he really, aside from being a serial killer, really was quite a pleasant person, and all the jailers talked about how they really liked him, and he, they got along with him. And well, it is, I mean, I don't know, I mean, 84 years old. This is the thing, they kept stressing how sharp as a tack she was, how witty and clever and sharp as a tack she was. But in those, there's a couple of recent pictures, and like I've said this before, I know, like on TV, they can make up you, they can put tons of makeup on you, they can do the stuff, they can do the thing, make you look whatever, but there was like a vacancy in her eyes. There was, the sparkle was gone, and so I don't know that she maybe could have pulled anything off like that. Did he? I did not know that, Paulette. But I do wonder, this is something else that I wondered, and it's just because of something that had happened with my mother recently. Is when we were talking about earlier, her wondering what her online presence was. Could someone have contacted her, say, through Messenger, through email, and pretended to be someone that she knew? And so maybe she had kind of a pen pal friendship with someone and gave them too much information, and it wasn't who she thought it was, because she was elderly and trusted someone, We'll have to look that one up. The only ones from across the pond that I'm familiar with is that Fred and Rose West. A couple months ago, I did a podcast on them, and it was, well, see, and that's something that I really am curious about. Is it nurture versus nature, or is it a combination of both? Like, is there just some people that no matter what you do, they're going to turn into this person? Yeah, exactly. Just somebody that, and maybe she didn't even think about telling anybody about it. My grandfather's high school sweetheart got a hold of him on Facebook, and he ended up meeting her and marrying her years later. I mean, but luckily it was really her, but I just found the other day when I was going through some of my mom's stuff, an old book that I'd gotten at the dollar store. It's written by Lionel Dahmer, and it is a story. It's his side of the story of, and I'm telling you, I don't know how you could have grown up in that house and become it. I mean, well, not eat people, but not been mentally broken by the end of it. That was a messed up family, and they just kind of left him on his own. Yeah, exactly. That's what I wonder. Was it something like that? And even if she didn't invite them, if she just, gave them too much information, not realizing. And Dennis Nelson, I'll have to look that one up too. On my community wall, I have it set up to where you guys can post on that. So if there's anybody that you want me to look up and discuss, please put it up there. Because this is the stuff that I started like when I started my channel, I never in a million years thought I'd be doing like live stories, things like that. I thought I'd just be doing, so I really dig that stuff. It's really interesting to me. And then you're in the right place, Doug, because that's all we do. We go all around everywhere. We have a million squirrels in here. We're riding squirrels. Like we're riding squirrels like horseback. See, that's what I started out doing, was cold case stuff. Yeah. That's what pretty much, except for a few, that's what all of my podcasts are. It's called a crime cast. I call it my crime cast, but it's all cold cases. Oops, I didn't see a text. A second. What I heard about that was that when she went missing, a neighbor called. That when she went missing, a neighbor called. And that's why they came there. But that was... Well, and that's it too. Yeah. Same here, Doug. Same here. I was... What was I doing? I can't remember what I was doing. I was working on something else, and this popped up, and like I thought, oh, just me and like the 10 people that I normally sit and talk with about this stuff. That's all that and then all of a sudden, boom, 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 all these people that are coming in and talking, and then we're finding out that we like stuff like cold cases and stuff like that. So I'm glad I did, because not only is this a really interesting brain twister of a case, but I'm getting to meet a lot of really cool people and growing my channel and all that fun stuff. So yeah, I know it sounded weird. So the neighbor called when they found out that she had gone missing. See, that I don't know. There's that crabby neighbor that was flipping everybody off and dropping F-bombs all over the place that one day. But she was mad because everyone was parking on the road. But is she that type of person that comes stomping down the road because whatever, your garbage can was too far out in the road? That was Annie, I believe. When they talked about that, her caregiver, I believe, was found out that was Annie. That's been a theory, yeah, is that she's not. Well, and what's the saying? Where do you hide something that you don't want anyone to find? It's usually in a really obvious place, because people don't think to look in the obvious places. We're all in here, creating a CSI Vegas episode, with this, and it could be something so simple that they just missed. See, I don't know. And it would depend on if she had any, because you can do like subscriptions on like Amazon products where they keep delivering. Well, she didn't have a dog, and the dog was Annie's, the dog that passed away. I know she always talked about the javelinas eating her flowers and her plants. Yeah, it could be her meds, exactly. I had vitamins moringa seed extract, actually, and I need to order some more. So I'm glad you said that, because that just reminded me. The dog, okay. Oh, the flowers. I hope so. JLR was the first one there, and he cleaned it all up, and he said, but if it was run over on accident, then my gosh, get out of your car and fix them. Because when JLR got there, he said there were flowers all over the place. Everything was just scattered all over. And so he was the only one there. So he cleaned it all up and put it all back. But yeah, I hope so. Turn on your bright lights. Come on, people. I mean, it is dark as all get out, but I don't know. Which one? There's been two of them. Oh, that guy today? He was talking about Walter Nash. There's two possibilities. He's either a criminal defense attorney that works in the state, or he's talking about Walter Nash that's in the David Beldecki books. That's, I think he's a detective. I don't know what he is, but I know that's the two things that I found with that name. But I don't know who that guy is. But and then there was the other one that was arrested. Was it last week? That was high and drunk and laughing his patootie off while he was getting arrested. So let's see. Oh, most likely. I'm sure he's very familiar with the inside of the tank. Did he drive? Because I only saw a clip of him. I wasn't watching. Did he drive up there? Or was he just like walking? Maybe that's Patrick. He said he drives a red Jeep. Oh. Let me read that. Just a second. That reminds me. That's what I was going to do. You guys are the ones to do it with. Oh, let me find it. I sent it to myself. Okay. This was, oh, you can't see, just a second. Okay, this was sent to me the other day by someone. Union leader sues Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos over suspension. The union leader, Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos, placed on leave last week, is now suing the sheriff for violating his First Amendment rights. Let me find the date on this. This is October 22nd, 2024. So this was the stuff that was happening last year that I was talking about. Nanos placed Sergeant Aaron Cross on administrative leave on October 14th for participating in political activities while allegedly dressed in department clothing. Nanos also suspended Heather Lappin, his Republican challenger, in the sheriff's race the same day. Cross, the president of the Pima County Deputies Organization, a union that released a vote of no confidence in Nanos earlier this year. Cross's attorney filed the suit in Arizona District Court on October 17th. PCDO is a chapter under the Arizona Conference of Police and Sheriffs, also known as AZCOPS, and the suit says a majority of PCSD deputies are members. Earlier this year, Cross confirmed to AZPM that more than 200 deputies are members of PCDO. Part of the suspension Cross includes placing him under a gag order, according to the suit. Placing the union president under a gag order creates a chilling effect and prevents him and other AZCOPS members from commenting on matters of public concern. In addition, Nanos, the suit also names Juan Carlos Navarro, a captain and advisor to Nanos who handles disciplinary actions and interprets PCSD policy. Cross carried a sign that read, "Deputies don't want Nanos," at a political event on October 12th, according to the suit. On that day, his clothing was his own, and although similar in style and color to those of on-duty deputies, did not have any other official PCSD logos. He also wore his own gun, handcuffs, and a handcuff holder on his belt. Navarro became aware of Cross's off-duty actions and called him, relaying alleged complaints that PCSD employees were campaigning while in uniform. Cross told Navarro his clothes were his own and that he was off duty. Navarro then ordered Cross not to wear anything deputies wore on duty to future political events. When Cross picketed again on October 14th, he wore a gray athletic shirt and khaki battle dress form uniform pants, according to court documents. Cross was then summoned to his superior's office and placed on leave for an unspecified reason while pending an unspecified investigation, and placed under an admonishment, according to court documents. An admonishment has the effect of a gag order. The lawsuit also calls the press release from PCSD on the afternoon of October 15th false and misleading. It said Navarro and Nanos both knew Cross was wearing his own clothes because of Navarro's phone call to Cross after the first event. Cross claims Nanos and Navarro's actions violated his state and federal constitutional rights and that he suffered damages from gross negligence. The suit asked the court to grant a preliminary injunction which would prevent the sheriff from taking any more action against Cross or members of AZCOPS until the suit is settled. It also requests a jury trial and for Nanos to be held responsible for general damages, including reputation, emotional distress, lost profits, deprivation of constitutional rights, humiliation, and attorney's fees. The hearing is set for next Monday, was October 28th, 2024. So that and what happened was he's also, so he put the female opponent on leave during so that she could not participate in any of the campaigning, I believe is what it stated in the article that I read about her. And I believe she won, but then he had a recount done and he ended up winning by 400 votes. So it's just, there's a lot of stuff. Exactly. And that's what he keeps doing. And with this, because that's even traffic. What? But that's part of it too, is without talking about politics. And I don't believe this case has anything to do with politics. But I believe that some of the things that were hindered in the beginning were because of politics, whether or not they be inner office politics or party politics, because he is very right, and I believe she was very left. So but there's been a lot of accusations with him, and he has lost a lot of his staff because of his behavior, because of him doing things like apparently got in an argument with, I believe, was it Brian Enton? I'm trying to think of who I heard this from. But one of the things, he had gotten an argument with the man that normally pilots their helicopter, like their search helicopter, and demoted him down to street level, to like a beat cop. And so that's why they did not have anyone to fly the was it Brian? I thought so. That's why they didn't have anyone to fly the helicopter those first couple of days, and had to have Border Patrol do it. So during the first press conference, when he right off started talking about, budgets and equipment, we don't have this, we don't have that. There's a lot of inner office politics going on with him. Well, and that's what he sounds like. He's very petty. And that the female running mate, she was also a co-worker of his, a deputy of his. She had talked about him using senior female officers to put pressure on the lower ranked female officers to get them to do certain things, nothing like inappropriate, but to get them to do what he wanted them to do, basically, to operate whatever. And so he's very, I believe, politically motivated as far as he wants to be in office. He wants that position. He has a very big ego. And he doesn't like to lose when it comes to that. And so that's where the politics comes in. So but there's more and more coming out about him than a lot of his, and like, what was the name? Brian Enton did the interview with him early on, and he was one of his like senior administrators, and was let go, and talked about the same thing, this attitude, this running it like a mafioso. And I mean, we just heard, was it last week, that he decided on his own that it was going to be himself and two of his senior officer investigators that were going to be running the gambit on this case and telling everybody what to do, and no one else had a say, no one else had anything. They weren't going to be sharing this stuff with the FBI, and that was it. And when you want to solve a case, I wouldn't think you'd do something like that. You'd use everything available to you. But if you want to save face, you'd pick your two best buddies to help you make everything look like it's tea and crumpets. So that's kind of how I feel about him. We have flock cameras here, and people are funny about them. They really get on our community pages. It's constant people complaining about them. And I'm telling you, I saw that a few times we've seen those cameras in action in our town, and they've caught dangerous people. We had one woman that was driving under the influence and missed a curve, ran into a house in town, and burned this house to the ground. And they found her because of the flock cameras. Exactly. And in fact, the day that my mom passed, I was sitting out on the front porch waiting for everybody to get done what they need to get done. And in town, someone got hit on a bicycle. It was a hit and run on a bicycle, and he was very badly hurt. And the officer told me, he's like, I'll be right back. I've got to go look at, he had to download the footage or something, because that flock camera footage is only good for so long too, I guess. At least ours is. I don't know. Apparently we are not paying for the subscription in our town either. I don't know. But they ended up finding the person that hit this guy, because they traced the cameras and traced the car and the license plate all the way out of town. Caught him the next day, but they caught him. And I don't know, there's one right outside my house. So I'm try and do something around here, you know? I mean, I don't have a problem with them. I think that they have a very good use in communities, and I've never seen my community leaders use them for anything other than their intended purpose. So, and I mean, honestly, if somebody wants to see what we're doing, if, like, I get all these government conspiracies and all this stuff, there's satellites that can see what kind of underpants I have on right now, I'm sure, you know? So they want to see us, they're going to see us. There's no... Well, and that was previously. See, that was about before this too, because he was angry with the way they were handling a case. And it was a previous case, so he already does not like them. And the funny thing is, he was complaining about them. He was saying, why not just make a statement? Why not just tell the families, give the families something to, you know, have? And then I find that kind of funny, and because now he's the one, no press conference, no nothing, you know. But then coming out with this, you know, Hollywood press tour and his nice shirt, you know, and yeah. Well, the funny thing is like, I noticed in our community chat, some of the people that are complaining are from like Detroit, or they're from like Florida. Like, why are you even in here? Like, they just go in to complain. So, but no, like I said, I haven't seen it used for any nefarious purposes or anything like that. And if they want to watch me sitting on my front porch drinking a Coke Zero, then I guess there's nothing much going on in the town, right? Because he had to look fancy. He's going to be on TV, Paulette. Don't want people thinking you're just the silly sheriff. Look nice. But that's it too. I don't know. I don't trust him, but I don't think he had anything to do with this, but I think his ego and his I don't want to say politics, because I don't think I'm not seeing it as politics in the conventional way, but of wanting to be a sheriff, wanting to be the head guy in charge of everything, you know, like a power trip. He wants to be that guy. Exactly. That's exactly. I 100% agree, Doug. Yeah. So I hadn't really heard anything about his wife. I had just heard that she was the one that told him that, hello, Stax, welcome. But that she was the one that told him that there was the when Savannah came out with the family came out with their first statement, she had no idea. Oh, I will. That'll be my. Because thank you very much. I appreciate that, Stax. That's what I do every night. I get in bed and I get all comfortable. And I set my phone down, and then I close my eyes for like 30 seconds. And I'm like, well, I'll just scroll one more time, and then that's when I start looking up stuff. So, hello, Miss Breaking News. Good to see you. Oh my gosh, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, you guys. You guys are bad influences keeping me up all night. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Well, and that's it. I mean, I know somebody in here was like, well, maybe he needed a break. And I'm like, then go listen to some music on your back porch. Like, don't go to a big game. And I'm in Michigan. There's not a lot that's new. Nothing really tonight. We just kind of going back over everything. And I know. I jinxed it. I said it was just going to be, that was my intention. My intention was just to come on and be like, okay, like continue the conversation that we were having earlier, and just finish up, and and then boom, it's 1:00 in the morning. So because what I was gonna do is I was gonna go and be in bed by like 11:30 because it came on like about 10. Oh, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. I told you. I ride squirrels around this place like horses. I'm all over the place. This is just me. I do it every time. Yeah. Well, and that's it. And the thing is I won't be tired all night. But no, you don't. I love it when you guys are in here talking to me. I love it, love it, love it. Because, like I said, we get all these good viewpoints. We met some cool new people tonight, right? We had some good talks. We talked about, and we didn't just talk about this. We were talking about one of my favorite things, serial killers. I mean, well, not my favorite. That's not what I meant. Like, one of my topics of interest. Is that what we'll say? The science of the whole thing. But yeah, so that was my intention. But then we got watching all that stuff and we got talking. But that's okay. I was with a little kid all day and I had to run and do a bunch of like banking and all that adult stuff. And I needed some adult time. So thank you all for bringing my brain back to sane town, because oh my goodness, if I had to Itsy Bitsy Spider one more time, or I Spy with my little eye, I was going to poke myself in the eye. Okay, that's what I was going to do. I think that's exactly right. Is that you cannot understand that. How? And, like I said, within nature versus nurture, are these created? I mean, I've read a lot about Ed Gein, and then I watched that Netflix show. Now, it could have been done like episode 6. The last 2 episodes, whatever. And I know there's a lot added to that for cinematic, fluff. But, like, a lot of that, the way his mother treated him and things like that. Like, if he had been in a normal home, would that have been the outcome? Well, yeah. Let me see. Let me catch up. Well, that's it. Yeah, if we could, then maybe you could like figure these, or get them help when they're young and stop it. And Ed Gein killed in the store. Oh, I'm having a total blank. She was the storekeeper and the barmaid. Those are the 2 that he did kill, because the storekeeper was the one that the detective ran into when he walked into the barn. and he had strung her out. But before that, while his mother was still alive, and for a while after, he was just robbing graves. Well, and see, that's it. And I mean, and that makes me question it too. So he was finally somewhere where he was taken care of, where he was not understood, but he was sent to a mental facility for the rest of his life, is what happened. And so yes, Bernice was the storekeeper, right? And Mary Hogan was the barmaid, right? Because it was, yes, because she was the widow that took over her husband's hardware store. But yeah, and then he lived the rest of his days in a mental facility after that. So, and I think that was, if I remember correctly, oh, that girl. That was something, though. I did some research on her, and she said she was his girlfriend right at first, but then she said that she wasn't. And then she said that they went places a couple times. When he was asked about it, they went to bowling or to the movies a couple times, is what she had said. And I thought that he had said that they didn't. Now I'm going to have to go back and find that article, because it was by her, and they were trying to talk to her about it years later. And she said, and she was like, no, I didn't know him. I didn't anything. I was just trying to get attention. And I guess she had done this with someone else too. She was mentally ill too. Oh, Ed Gein. Yeah. Oh, I believe it. I believe it. I mean, oh, but that was another one. Like I said, and Dahmer's mother had, she had mental illness issues and was in and out of psychiatric hospitals. And oh, I'm sure, yeah. I don't think he did. Wait, did he? Yes, because remember, that was one of the things too that they found. They found parts like canned and like in pots on the stove. So I believe he did, or at least he tried it. Ah. Well, isn't that odd? Because that's one of the things with Ed Gein. He read that comic book about the World War II that Nazi made, and I can't remember her name, but that was something that was true about that documentary, if I remember correctly, is that he was obsessed with the torture and the things like that this woman put on people. And I'm trying to remember what the name of that was. I can see her right in my head. Oh, and someone asked earlier, I think I missed it. Stacks, you asked what's my take on the Nancy case. Oh, well, tonight we have come up with 4,575 different possibilities, and we just really have no idea. There's so many possibilities right now. Yes. Wasn't he the one? Was he the one that cooked somebody and served him to friends or his family? Carl Panzram. Because I swear, I think Baby Sarian did a video on him. See, now I'm going to have to listen to these documentaries to get to sleep tonight. Okay. Because I'd gone back and watched some of her older ones. I thought she did Colonel Panzram too. Is he the one? Okay, dark curly hair. I'm like picturing all of these different people in my head. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't understand that either. She really, and that when reading the book by his dad, that's the biggest thing that he said. Like, she never bonded with him as a baby, and when she left him with his father and took off with his younger brother, and that was a big, I guess, a big turning point in his life. But at the same time, his dad got involved with this new woman and was over with her in her house, and just ignored him too. So this kid is by himself to just. Okay, and I know she did one on Albert Fish. So maybe that's where I got that name. I'll have to look. That's interesting. I remember her doing one on Albert Fish. But, all right, guys, it is 1:08 in the morning, and I have got to get up at 6 to get a kiddo off to school. I have to have enough sleep so that when he rolls his eyes at me 14 times before he gets out the door, I don't freak out. If any of you have teenagers, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, all right, you guys. Thank you. Oh, that guy. Yeah, in real life, yeah. But, that had to be a little traumatizing to actually have to play that, though. I give him props for that, because, whoo. But, all right, guys. Yeah, thanks again for coming in and talking and rolling all your ideas around. And if you're new and you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe and the thumbs up button for me and the notification bell so you will know when we go live again, and you can come and have good talks and fun times. So, all right, and everybody have a great night, and I will see you later. Peace, love, and claws, y'all. Thank you.